You didn't actually think that Frosty's story would end here, did you? Well, I'm afraid you're wrong. Now, Frosty was about to leave with Santa Claus after saying goodbye to the children and his steam engine friends, but before he would leave, he would tell everyone something about him that no other engine, or child that matter, would have thought about their jolly good snowman.
Goodbye, Frosty. We'll miss you. But we know you'll come back someday. We always do. Thank you for coming back, Frosty. Have fun at the North Pole.
It was great seeing you all. I had a fun time. And of course, I'll see you again someday. Like always.
Take care, Frosty. Here's to our friend. Frosty, what's wrong? There's no need to be sad. We'll see each other again someday. You've made that very clear.
Yes, Thomas, but it's just that. Well, the truth is that I've been feeling more alone at the North Pole than ever. There's no one very special that I could talk to.
The engines felt very sorry for Frosty, and they weren't sure how to cheer him up just yet. None of the engines apparently knew how to help Frosty, for they didn't fully understand. But eventually, all the engines would be able to help out Frosty if it hadn't been for one engine to try and find out himself. Santa, is it alright, before you leave, if you and I could just have a quick talk?
Of course, Thomas.
So Santa entered Thomas's cab, and the two made their way back to Knapford so they could talk. The children stayed behind just so they could try and help Frosty resolve his issue, as well as the engines to keep him company. However, one child had to go home just because he was late for dinner, so Duck offered to take him home. Along the way, Thomas suggested how he and Santa Claus should speak with Sir Topham Hatt, because Thomas knew his controller was willing to help out anyone, including Frosty, because all Thomas could think about was helping the one friend who made Christmas special for him. Santa Claus, Frosty does have friends up at the North Pole, right?
Of course, Thomas. The elves and I keep him company. Matter of fact, we would build snow forts and battle in snowball fights whenever we would have free time. However, I do understand what he means by feeling alone.
What do you mean, sir?
Well, my elves are always busy making toys for all of the girls and boys. They aren't always free to spend time with Frosty. And whenever Frosty would be alone, he would always just go back home. It almost feels as if he never had
A wife? A wife? Yes, I believe I know why Frosty feels just like that. He claimed that we had no one special to talk to, and I felt the exact same way before I met Miss Lady Hat. Before, I was rather sad, lonely, and depressed because I had no one special to talk to. But then on going meeting Lady Hat, and there I was. I felt like the happiest man alive as soon as we met. I felt like I was over the moon, and I felt as jolly as, well, as Frosty himself. Do you know what I'm saying, Thomas? Then that settles it then. Thank you for telling me, Sir Topham Hatt. That's exactly what we need. We need to get Frosty a wife so he can feel jolly again. Yeah, well, I guess that can work, Thomas, but... Thank you so much for the talk, Sir Topham Hatt and Santa Claus. I'm off to go find the children and tell them about Frosty's wife, and I'm gonna ask them if they can make her. I'll be back later today. Trust me, you're gonna see our jolly good snowman once again. Wait, no, Thomas, hold on. Let's sort this out first. Thomas! Thomas!
You have worked with quite the engine you have there, Sir Topham Hatt.
Well, look, I did order him from the mainland, so perhaps those mongrels must have stuffed his funnel with all these ideas. The children did their very best to keep company to their beloved snowman, as the engines waited very patiently for their friend Thomas to come back. Do you engines think that Thomas has found a solution for Frosty to be happy again? I'm not completely sure, Edward, but one thing I know about Thomas is that when he's determined, and he'll never give up.
Wait, was that Thomas?
Yeah, and he sounds pretty excited.
Frosty! I know what you need to cheer you up! You need a wife! A wife?
What's a wife?
A wife is someone who loves you, talks to you, helps you, is nice to you, supports your dreams, gives you advice. Really good at making decisions. The point is, Frosty, a wife is someone who you can trust and someone special for you to talk to.
Well, that sounds wonderful. Can we make her out of snow?
Of course we can, and that's why I had to hurry. I was wondering if you young ones could collect some materials, like women's clothing, something for her eyes, a button nose, and even a wig for her head of hair. And if you engines can go fetch some extra snow. I don't believe we'll have enough in this area. Sure thing, Thomas.
No problem, Thomas. In fact, ain't the kind of where to look for snow.
It took a lot of hard work, dedication, and time, and even though that the stars began to glitter in the night sky, they managed to build Frosty's Snow Wife. The children gave her a mop as a wig to represent her hair. They also gave her bright beaded blue eyes to represent her personality and color, a button nose just like Frosty, and finally, a pink apron. The engines were thrilled and excited, but none were as excited as Frosty the Snowman himself.
She's beautiful. What's her name?
How about Romelda Bay? No! Where did you even get a name like that? Okay. How about Kellogg's? No! Again, where'd you get a name like that? If you're going to pick a name, it must be something that says a lot about her.
I got it. Jessie?
You got the name Jessie from the Toy Story series, didn't you?
What about Crystal? For her beaded eyes be shining bright as one.
Crystal! That's a beautiful name.
Great idea, Salty. Here's to Crystal.
The engines cheered and hooted in excitement. They thought the name Crystal suited her perfectly. But Henry, the big green engine, soon realized that there was one problem with Crystal. But wait, you guys, Crystal hasn't come to life yet.
And Henry was right, because sadly for Crystal, she wasn't alive yet, nor had any source of magic ability to. Oh, don't you worry about that, Henry. All we gotta do is just find an old silk hat like Frosty's.
But Thomas, Frosty's hat is a magical hat. Where else are we going to find a hat exactly like Frosty's?
Oh, I forgot about that.
That is when, sadly, all the engines' faces turned from excitement into worry.
Well, she doesn't look as pretty as we probably...
James!
Don't listen to James, Frosty. I'm sure there's a way for Crystal to come to life. Don't let this stop you from what you believe in.
Thank you, George. But I just don't know how.
The only thing Frosty was able to do was to give his beloved Crystal a small bouquet of icy flowers that were right beside him.
Oh, Crystal, I wish you would come to life. So then, we can love and cherish each other forever.
But what Frosty didn't know was that high up above, a star heard his wish. And in that very moment, something amazing happened in front of Frosty, the children, and all of the engines, to which they referred to as a miracle.
Happy birthday!
Crystal, what kept you?
Oh, Frosty, I thought you'd never think of those flowers.
Well then I guess it's safe to say
We're gonna